The Governor's Bean, from Leipoldt's Cellar and Kitchen, by C Louis Leipoldt, writing under the name K A R Bonade. First published in Die Huisgenoot on the 10th of April 1942. It would be hard to find something more genuinely Afrikaans in a vegetable garden than the good old goeverniersboontjie, or hereboontjie, as it is also called. This is not something you are likely to find discussed in any overseas cookbook. Take, for instance, the Larousse Gastronomique, that comprehensive manual for the modern chef. There is no mention whatsoever of our admirable goeverniersboontjie, which is even overlooked in Afrikaans cookbooks, although here and there you might come across a casual reference to dry beans. Yet what could be finer than an old-fashioned goeverniersboontjie of the large variety? When green, they are magnificent, but it is a shame to pick them before they have reached maturity, and they taste much better when ripened in the sun. They are at their best when the pods have just opened, the two halves curling up to expose the treasure they have hitherto guarded with such care. And how splendid are the colours they display! Subtle hues of red, black, brown, white, and yellow. They lie there like fragments of the finest Amendola marble, traditionally regarded as the best marble. It is true that we seldom see the goeverniersboontjie in all its old-fashioned glory, and it seems as if the species has become smaller, more wrinkled, and less colourful. There are even some pale yellow, dirty white descendants to be found, inferior-tasting South American types that are far less pleasing aesthetically. So try to obtain the good old-fashioned variety, if you can, preferably from a farm somewhere in the southwestern part of the Cape. Go for those that have grown in river soil and held their ground against the ravages of the southeaster. And please do not treat them like ordinary beans. They are aristocrats, entitled to their privileges, and they have their likes and dislikes. So keep them well dried and properly cleaned in an airtight jar out of reach, where there is no chance of the jar being, as in our youth we might have muttered in mock astonishment, mysteriously smashed by some inexplicable mishap. And do not for a moment think that this is too much of an ask of an already overworked housewife. It is well worth the effort, for it preserves the flavour. As Ayamina or Anna, or whoever the old soul who taught me to respect the goeverniersboontjie was, always used to say, "The taste, klein baas, the taste is what makes it worth its weight in gold." I do not entirely agree. The goeverniersboontjie is not only the tastiest, but possibly also the most nourishing of all our beans. Its nutritional value, those who speak of calorie value are simply being foolish, for we do not choose our food according to how much firewood it provides, is far more than that of meat or fish or fruit, and it contains just about everything one needs to live, including all the new-fangled vitamins so fashionable these days. Not everything, of course. You cannot survive on the governor's bean alone. And so, since the cookbooks are unfortunately silent on how to prepare and cook them, allow me to offer a few recipes of my own. but be warned. Long suffering and patience are required when dealing with a goeveniersboontjie. To cook them, remove them from the airtight jar. A cupful is enough to start with. Examine them and discard any that are not pristinely pure, perfect, and pleasing to the eye. Wash them in cold water to get rid of any lingering grains of dust. Then place them in a clear saucepan and cover them with tap or fountain water. Let them soak a while, but definitely not too long. Even when it comes to the lesser dry bean types, I am always horrified when I read the instruction in a cookbook to soak them overnight in cold water. Phantoms of Carême and La Chapelle! That is no way to treat a governor's bean. Too long a soaking will stimulate growth, resuscitating its dormant lust for life and activating that most mysterious of chemical metabolisms that can ruin the taste in an instant. So soak them for an hour and a half, at most, no longer. Drain off the water and submerge them again, this time in lukewarm water with a pinch of salt. But in heaven's name, no bicarbonate of soda. Nothing, alas, can preserve the magnificent color of the beans. When cooked, they lose their color and turn brown. Light brown when cooked slowly and thoroughly as they should be, or a darker brown when cooked too fast. Keep the lid on the saucepan, but give it an occasional shake and add a bit of warm water from time to time, so that the beans remain submerged while they cook. When they are soft, take the saucepan from the fireplace, drain the water in a colander, and shake the beans dry. For connoisseurs who prefer a simple, pure vegetable taste, they are now cooked and ready for the table. They are especially good when cold, for it is then that they have the genuine goeveniersboontjie taste. Something between that of a chestnut and a dried medlar. You can serve them with a sour sauce or as a salad with a simple mixture of vinegar and pepper, a touch of mustard, and a dash of oil. But what about something a bit more sophisticated, something more refined? Some of us are not content with sheer simplicity. We prefer the lily gilded, a whiff of perfume with a fragrant mignonette. For the benefit of these connoisseurs, put the beans back in the saucepan with a pinch of pepper, ginger, and mace. Add a cup of meat or chicken soup and cook slowly with the lid on. In another saucepan, braise a sliced onion, with a suspicion of garlic if desired, and when it is light brown, mix in a few tablespoonfuls of tomato sauce. Dilute with a few spoonfuls of the soup in which the beans are cooking, then add the mixture to the beans, stirring carefully to keep them intact. Cook for a few minutes longer and serve with a sprinkling of parsley. Another method. Put the beans in a saucepan with a large spoonful of butter or soft fat, preferably chicken fat. Add pepper, mace, and herbs and braise slowly, taking care not to damage the beans. Serve with grated nutmeg or a sprinkling of parsley. And what should one drink with it? It is a colorful dish, and aesthetics demand a wine of color. So a red table wine, one that is not too sweet.